And on this edition of Oxford News this week, Oxford stands with Sparty Nation. The bowling team strikes and a good season. A new segment on the last story on this special edition of Oxford News this week. 50 months have gone by since the tragedy befell Oxford in 2021, and last week when the news of a gunman had slain 3 Michigan State University students and injured 5 others, Oxford community was again saddened by what happened on that action February 13th, that Monday night. The shooter alarm was sounded in East Lansing at roughly 8:18 p.m. from the MSU campus. A shelter-in-place warning was put into place for the university surrounding the community. 3 students, 2 from Grosse Pointe, junior Ariel Anderson, sophomore Brian Fraser, and a Clawson junior Alexandria Werner were all killed at Berkey Hall. 5 other students were shot and critically injured at the University Union Hall. The shooter, 43-year-old, died from self-inflicted gunshot wounds and was discovered in Lansing by authorities roughly at 11:30 that night. Oxford School Board President Dan D'Alessandro at the February 14th school board meeting said around 50 students from the Oxford attended MSU at the meeting. He thanked the school staff that same night and reached out to as many Oxford graduates that they knew from Michigan State, first and foremost to make sure that they were okay, secondly to ask if they needed anything or any type of support. The staff did last night, continues to do so today. According to Interim Superintendent Dr. Vicki Markovich, her administration cabinet met at 9 p.m. on the night of the MSU shooting. On Wednesday the 15th, the district human resource department called all staff with students at MSU to see if, again, they needed any help, to inform them of special support events that will be happening locally. The administrative lead, Susan Minge for Oxford Resiliency Center, invited Oxford graduates to attend the MSU, who attended MSU, to gather on Wednesday night at the center for commemoration and to share their experience. Common Ground, funded by the state of Michigan through a grant by the Federal Anti-Terrorism Emergency Assistance Program. The center is devoted to promoting mental and emotional well-being by providing opportunities for people to come together, find support, and restore community sense of safety and security, help each other heal. The Oxford Fire Department sent a crew also of an ambulance to East Lansing for mutual assistance. Chief Majestic stated Ingham County requested an ambulance strike team to respond back to the East Lansing Fire Department with the active shooter situation on site at MSU. Oakland County was contacted and initiated an out-of-division response unit. He said local ambulances and personnel responding were Brandon, Groveland, Springland, Highland, Rochester City, Oxford, along with the command staff. There are faces in the community that many people see, although they may hear about them from time to time. These are the faces of need, the faces of those facing food insecurity, who need support to meet the most basic necessities each week, putting a meal on the table for themselves and their families. These are the faces of pride. Some of these faces of gratitude, some are the faces of embarrassment and they have to ask for help. Others are the faces of those, especially those asking for help for the first time. But at the free meals program, the only faces that matter are the faces of neighbors. Lydia Ronner packs meals for guests in the free meals program. Lead Connie Miller and her team of volunteers of the free meals program at Emmanuel Congregational Church in Christ in Oxford says they've seen faces every week. Guests to the program are greeted by smiling faces of volunteers who themselves are grateful for the help. The free meals program, a truly grassroots program, serves those in need by providing a hot meal in takeout containers and groceries, milk, bread, eggs, fresh produce, pantry goods, and odds and ends you do a drive-through between 4:30 and 6 p.m. again every Wednesday. At the church, guests to the program are largely from Oxford, Addison, Orion townships, but there are no residency requirements to receive assistance. To donate to the free meals program, contact Connie Miller at 248-933-4579 or the Emmanuel Congregational Church at 248-628-1610. You can also mail donations monetary to Congressional United Church of Christ, 1 Hovey, and that's in Oxford 48371. Again, the free meals program appreciates everything they get. Leonard Village President Michael McDonald addressed the council at their February meeting concerning contract negotiations between North Oakland Transit Authority, Oakland County. Mr. McDonald, who also currently serves as the NOTA, brought before the council a motion regarding contract and resolution adoptions for NOTA. McDonald stated the 2023 is going to be a transitional year for NOTA, especially with the possibility of adding more routes.
It's going to be a transitional year, that's for sure. We're adding 3 routes to serve just Addison, Oakland, or not Addison, Orion, and Oxford. Plus, the county is hoping that if we can obtain a couple more buses beyond those 3, which means we have to get 3 new vehicles, they'd like us to expand our service area larger. That's for 2023. Then in 2024, they've speculated that they would like us to start serving Brandon Township. That's one of the names, Brandon or Independence or both.
At the forefront of the negotiations with the Oakland County was a length of contract for NOTA, board insisting on they be changed from 1 year to 3.
They didn't want a 3-year, we got a 3-year agreement. They wanted a 1-year only agreement, and we said, all of us, it wasn't just NOTA, it was West Oakland Transportation Authority and OPC in Rochester. We all said, you're asking us to create a system and not promising to pay for it beyond 1 year. They said, we can't, make that kind of commitment. So they eventually said, okay, we'll uncap the budget in the 2nd and 3rd years, and we'll renegotiate them as they come up. But we will have you for at least 3 years. Ideally, they say they want us forever, but they're only willing to go 3 years.
During the negotiations, Oakland County and NOTA, the board demanded autonomy concerning the overall development of the program. But as Mr. McDonald reiterated, up to the Village Council of Leonard, along with the other communities involved in the program, to make the final decision whether the contract should be accepted.
I happen to be serving currently as the chair for NOTA, and I can tell you that I went to several meetings at the county and as a representative for both the village and for NOTA. And so there was a lot of time and effort, and we really, we didn't make out great, but we came a long ways beyond what they had originally offered or how they wanted to do it. So I don't have a problem approving it personally, but what was important was that all of us could agree on it. And so when the NOTA board voted to recommend approval to the local member communities, that's why we're here tonight.
The Leonard Village Council unanimously approved the contract along with the Village of Oxford, Addison Township, and in Oxford Township. The board will be voting at their next meeting in March. Not sure about Orion's contribution to NOTA at this time. The DDA keeping busy, tired of cooking, want to try something different. The Downtown Development Authority of Oxford and Lake Orion have an idea for you. The 2nd annual restaurant week. It's coming up. It'll be Friday and it runs through Friday, March 3rd. Kelly Westbrook said during restaurant week, participating diners will have different specials. In Oxford, there are currently 11 of 14 downtown restaurants participating this year. There are 12 Lake Orion restaurants involved. The Downtown Trolley Express, again, will transport people between Oxford and Lake Orion. The trolley does run continually during those times, each loop taking about 20 minutes to make it back and forth. In the pickup locations, of course, the Magic Brownie. Also, the drop-off in Oxford would be the Funky Monkey. In Lake Orion, your pickup location would be the Fork and Pint, and the drop-off would be Nuts About Chocolate. Here, the trolley schedule, it's on February 20, coming up on February 23rd, during the month of February and during the restaurant week. It's 5 to 9 Saturday, 3 to 9 Friday, 3 to 5 Saturday 5 to 9, and March 4th 3 to 5. Again, check out their website, the DDA. You'll get a better idea what the schedule is. Again, the DDA website is always right there and available. They want you to take part in Restaurant Week. Along with that, Kelly Westbrook said in March, both DDAs are promoting Downtown Passport Program. These are for any shop, service, or restaurant in the downtown areas. When you go to the downtown business and spend well over $25 or more, you get a passport stamped. Once you fill up the passport, you get a $25 gift card to use at any other downtown Oxford business. You get $25 gift card to use in a downtown Lake Orion business. To have passports validated, you have to get gift cards. Go to either the DDA office in Oxford, and that address is 22 West Burdick. In Lake Orion, it's at 118 North Broadway Street. Get your passport real soon. The Oxford Township Parks and Rec frequently partners up with local businesses to offer enrichment programs to the public. Earlier in the week, Caputo Salon, downtown Oxford, hosted the Daddy Braiding Boot Camp. Stylists taught their fine art of braiding while their daughters giggled and did their best to sit still. They learned the French, Dutch, and fishtail braids. To learn more about the Oxford Township enrichment programs, you can visit their website, oxfordparkrec.org/brochure/I guess.org. With that, Dave Kenny, I know will have some segments. I have a lengthy sports cast. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching Oxford News This Week.
Canine Stray Rescue is Oxford's own local dog rescue. Each year they take in hundreds of dogs and bring them into suitable homes. A certified nonprofit organization, Canine Dog Rescue strives to give pound dogs a new leash on life. To donate, adopt, or even volunteer, call them at 248-628-0435 or go to their website, dogsaver.org, and click on the Canine Stray Rescue League link.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from Automotive News. The redesigned 2024 Mercedes-Benz E-Class features technology that reimagines the midsize sedan as a mobile work and entertainment space. The new E-Class arrives in U.S. stores in the fourth quarter, and it will debut a new design and the third generation of Mercedes MBUX infotainment system. A working demo of the vehicle's interior at a media event showed a high-resolution display anchoring the E-Class cockpit. Combined with the optional front passenger screen, the display extends from the instrument cluster unit to the A-pillar. Models without a passenger display feature a trim element that extends to the center. A narrow climate control vent sets against the upper contour of the display's glass surface, connecting the central duct and the outer climate control vents to form a single unit. A light strip illuminates the instrument panel's front section. The lighting element, which runs in an arc from the windshield past the A-pillars and into the doors, visually interprets the audio playing in the car. Software analyzes the audio signals based on frequency and direction. Fast sequences of beats, for instance, lead to a rapid light change, while flowing rhythms create softly merging lighting moods, Mercedes says. Mercedes' next-generation MBUX infotainment system uses artificial intelligence to deliver greater personalization by learning the driver's frequently used comfort settings and enabling programmable routines, Mercedes said. MBUX integrates with the Android operating systems and allows the installation of third-party apps such as TikTok, Zoom, and WebEx. The E-Class's optional onboard selfie and video camera can also be used for conference calls. A central computer powers the screens and the MBUX system in the new E-Class, enabling faster data transfers and snappier performance, MBUX boss Michael Hafner told Automotive News on the sidelines of an event that was there. Hafner said the unified computer architecture delivers hardware cost savings and makes software development more efficient. Mercedes uses software, cameras, and seat sensors to reduce driver distraction in the E-Class. The passenger display's dual light control technology developed by Mercedes can prevent content such as videos from being seen peripherally by the driver while the vehicle is in motion. And an in-cabin camera can detect if the driver is looking at the front passenger screen instead of the road. The technology dims the brightness of the passenger screen so it's not so visible to the driver. The next generation E-Class is in production in Sindelfingen, Germany. I hope I got that right. Mercedes will drop the coupe and convertible body styles for the new generation. The 4- and 6-cylinder model engine models will receive a 48-volt mild hybrid system. In the future, Mercedes might add a plug-in hybrid variant to the lineup that could offer about 50 miles of battery-powered driving range. That's a great car. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
And now sports. Last Thursday night, the varsity Oxford girls bowling team was senior night. It was a battle against the crosstown rival Lake Orion for the Oakland Activities Association Red Division title. The matchup was at Collier Lanes. Oxford went into the night knowing if they had won, they would repeat an OAA Red Championship. The Wildcats won Baker games at 1 at 203 and to Lake Orion, 129-210. And armed with a 10-0 lead, Oxford went on to win 7 of the 10 matches and beat the Dragons 27-3. Top performers for Oxford were Kylie Penzian, who bowled a 191, 161 Macy Strevel, 187 and 168 would be Caroline Martinez, 181 Tessa Bonk at 178 and 191. Olivia Hoffman also won 2 matches at 156 and 137. That's some pretty good bowling. This is back-to-back Red Division titles for the Cats. The girls wrapped up their OAA season with a record of 5-1. Overall, they're 11-1. Just unstoppable. Wildcat boys already locked up their title, but went to beat the crosstown rivals nonetheless. The Lake Orion team was 8-2 on the season, but the Wildcats showed up. Their muscle came with it. 27-3, the boys won the Baker games, won that 7 of 10 matches en route to the convincing the victory. The boys wrapped up their OAA season at 6-0. Overall, the record was 13-1. They're a powerhouse in bowling. And then we jump back to the 13th of this past month. The Wildcats traveled to Avon Lanes and Rochester to battle the Irish of Notre Dame. The varsity girls won 27-3. The co-captains led the way. Tessa Bont bowling at 180, 198. Macy Stevel rolling at 189, 182. Again, the boys dominated there as well, 28-2, and started hot Baker games. They went on to win 8 of 10 matches. Senior co-captain Jason Paslin led the way with 423 for the 2 games. Good stuff there in bowling. 6 Wildcats move on to the MHSAA Division I Wrestling Individuals Final at Ford Field in a few weeks after placing at the top at the Heartland Regional Meet. Again, that was last weekend. The girls wrestled at Birmingham Groves High School. Both freshmen Cheyenne Frank and junior McKenna Bovee placed 3rd in their weight class in the girls MHSA wrestling meet. This makes them the first 2 females to qualify for states in Oxford history. Wildcats lost a division, though, in the MHSAA Division I Wrestling Championship 101 Wednesday at 54-21. Congratulating the ladies, though, doing their job on wrestling. Oxford High School sophomore Sierra Musial qualified for the upcoming MHSAA Division Ski State Championship at Schuss Mountain on the 27th of February. Musial was one of the 3 racers from the combined team of Holly, and that will be the 27th coming up. Oxford and Holly, the combined team at the MHSAA Division I Ski Champion 2, Region 2 competition at Mount Holly. Back on February 13th, the Holly and Oxford girls ski team finished in 4th place overall with a total of 135 with 65 in the slalom race, 70 from the giant slalom. Oxford area boys team finished 8th place overall with a total of 262, 93.5 from the slalom. They scored at 168.5 from the giant slalom. Also, Oxford boys basketball and girls basketball are doing fairly well. You can catch most of those games here on OCTV. We'll have results of their finishing up the season next week. Oxford Varsity Competitive Cheer finished the first place in the OAA White with their meet at Troy High School. That took place a few weeks back. While they also broke the school record round for 232.8 points. They finished around at 210.4. And round 3 at 286.6, the total of 729.44 points. Again, the meet, Oxford Varsity Competitive Cheer dominated the OAA White League. The meet at Clarkson High School, that took place back in the last part of January. Wildcats finished first place with a total of 708.12, scoring 222, 203, and then 281. Clarkson finished second place at 702. Avondale third at 689. Troy fourth at 687. Royal Oak fifth at 669. Again, this is a few weeks back, but congratulations to the ones that normally cheer for the Oxford teams. They actually, we need to cheer for them. Congratulations to them on all their efforts. Going to take a break. Dave Kenny's got another segment. I have the last story coming up next on Oxford News This Week.
Hey, this is former Detroit Lion Rob Rubik and former Lapeer, Michigan school teacher. You're currently watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television. Enjoy it.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. The record drought that has affected large parts of South America for the last 3 years is being driven by the La Nina weather system and exacerbated by climate change, an international group of climate scientists has determined. Historically dry and hot weather in areas like Argentina, Chile, Brazil, and Paraguay and Uruguay have forced countries to ration water and has devastated harvests, contributing to rising food prices globally. Chile has seen giant reservoirs turn to desert and is experiencing the deadliest wildfires in its history, while Argentina, which is seeing its lowest rainfall since 1960, is predicted to lose $10 billion to $15 billion in export earnings this year as wheat and soy exports drop by half. Climatologists have speculated that the extreme weather could be related to climate change, but Paola Arias at the University of Antioquia in Colombia and her colleagues have concluded that the La Nina weather pattern, which is now in its 3rd year, is the main cause of the extreme droughts. The researchers use computer models to analyze past weather events in order to determine the likely causes of the low precipitation from October to December of 2022. La Nina describes cool ocean temperatures in the eastern Pacific Ocean, which alter global atmospheric conditions and can cause extreme weather in much of the world. In South America, the weather phenomenon usually makes countries in the north, such as Colombia and Venezuela, wetter, while those in the south, such as Argentina and Uruguay, get drier. A 3-year La Nina phase has only been recorded twice before, in 1973 to 1975 and in 1998 to 2001. Although climate change isn't driving the lack of rainfall, the 1.2 degrees Celsius global temperature increase since the late 1800s is worsening its impact, the researchers concluded. Both natural variability and climate change are acting together, pushing in the same direction, says Arias. Deforestation in the Amazon rainforest is also reducing water vapor in the atmosphere and could have an impact, she says. Models suggest Earth's weather system will switch from La Nina to El Nino phase this year, which could bring relief to the region's weather woes. But it really cannot tell at this point, says Arias. Climate models predict that rainfall in Chile in the second half of this century will be 30% lower than the historical average, so the current crisis has lessons for the future, says Duncan Christie at the Center for Climate and Resilience Research in Santiago, Chile. What we are living today is a window into our future of water security. So on the one hand, it's a tremendous threat, but on the other, it's an opportunity to see all the things we need to do to manage climate change, says Christie. Some politicians are calling for more actions, both to mitigate and prevent climate change, with elections taking place in Argentina and Paraguay this year. Former Uruguayan President Jose Mujica called for cattle ranchers to crossbreed cows with a zebus, a subspecies of domestic cow originating in South Asia, to make them more resistant to heat, while Chilean President Gabriel Boric pledged to build back, that is, differently in the wake of forest fires. The Chilean government is proposing to guarantee people's right to water in its new constitution. South America is ramping up its investment in green energy technologies such as green hydrogen and experiencing a boom in innovation in the agricultural sector. According to research firm Radar AgTech, 1,703 agribusinesses startups were created in Brazil in 2022, up from 1,124 in 2019. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
And in the last story, Lucy the cat is safe and sound thanks to the efforts of Oxford Fire Department. On Monday afternoon, Oxford members Captain Ron Jollis, Kelly Gilgore, and Spencer Stewart responded to a call that Eleanor Russo on Fairway View, Dr. Lucy, the family cat, had become trapped with the engine of Miss Russo's vehicle and was crying for help. After assessing the situation, the Oxford Fire Department members immediately went to work, carefully extricated the Fury victim. Once Lucy was free, she jumped down, stayed beneath the vehicle. Everybody was happy. CJ Hernacchio, Communications Grants Manager, reached out quickly, scooped her up, preventing her from running off. Fortunately, Lucy appears to have sustained only minor injury. Miss Russo was quite pleased at the accomplishments of the fire department. She was so thankful. Another job well done. It should be noted that Mrs. Russo, neighbor of Joey Bruno of the senior at Lake Orion High School, was the first person on scene. He did his best to help and comfort both Lucy and Mrs. Russo. Again, a nice story to end the news on. We thank the news gathering source of the Oxford Leader, Oxford Township Facebook. Also credits the photo going to CJ Carnacchio and the Oxford Leader. OCTV can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191, Channel 99 at ATT Uverse, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and yes, that Roku. Everybody loves that. You can watch OCTV there. OCTV is also available to local groups for producing public service announcements. If you do have a show idea, you want to volunteer, give our office a call at 248-628-9658. Thanks to producer-director Kyle Snage today, videographer Al Campbell, also our editor Marissa, program coordinator Dan Weiss, program director Connie Miller, station manager Terry Stiles, for everyone at OCTV. I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week. I invite you back next week when we will again take a look at Oxford news this week. Have a great week, everyone.